Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today's yoga practice is going to be all about releasing through the lower back. Should feel really, really nice. We're going to be close to our mat today, and I'm going to offer you a variation at the end that you can do with or without a bolster. Now, bolsters are amazing prop to have. If you don't have one though, don't worry. You can make one with like a rolled up mat with a blanket over, or like long sofa cushions or something like that. But if you do fancy getting yourself one, you can get 10% off Ecotech, which is this brand. It's a really great bolster. I've had it for a couple of years, and it's linked down below with my code as well, so you're welcome to use that. But let's get into the practice. We want to release our lower back. We're going to come down onto our back, soles of the feet on the mat, and then just allow yourself to find a comfortable position. So maybe have a little shimmy of the shoulders, out the way, resting your hands onto your front body, and whatever's best for your lower back here. So I find soles of the feet is quite nice. Soles of the feet onto the mat is nice, with the knees slightly kind of dropping into one another. Close the eyes. Draw in a full breath in through the nose, and a full out through the mouth. One more. And let it go. Just starting to watch that flow of breath up and down the length of the spine. Watching as the breath flows, does it get stuck or like caught anywhere? And then bringing your attention down to the lower back. And having this sensation of it being really heavy against the mat. Lovely. From here, you're going to hug the right knee in towards the chest. And really hug it in here. So maybe when you hug it in, you might want to bring it more towards your heart, or more towards kind of the armpit. You can lengthen out the left leg, but that might be a bit too much on the hips for today. So we want to focus on releasing the lumbar spine, the lower back. Lovely. From here, we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. Now this might be enough for some of us. You might already be feeling that nice release through the lower back. Or maybe we bring the legs in a little bit closer. You can grab the back of your left thigh or your left shin. Now the tendency is to kind of lift up with the head, lift up with the tailbone. It's not a crunch, we don't want that today. So soften your tailbone forwards, allow your shoulders to be heavy, and focus on that stretch in the hip, which is going to help release through your lower back. Lovely. And with each exhale, see if you can just allow yourself to really kind of find comfort and ease in the posture. Lovely. From here, if you've got a hold of your left leg, you're going to let go and then bring your right knee all the way over, crossing your legs almost like you're sitting at a desk, so your thighs are like glued to one another. We're coming into a reclined shoelace. So from here, we're going to bring the knees in towards the chest. Now, for some of us, we might be able to grab one knee or both knees and just simply allow the arms to be heavy, pulling the knees in towards the chest. So you're getting into the outer hip, but the lower back is like really supported by the mat. It's like the nicest thing that you can do for your lower back is like have it supported. So either grabbing the knees, maybe some of us can grab our calves or shins. Maybe some of us can reach for the feet and just allow the arms to kind of be heavy and pull the feet down and like towards the armpits. This is quite intense for the outer hip, but we kind of don't want it to be too intense. We want to focus on releasing the lower back. And by working like around through the hips, this is going to help as well. Particularly if you hold on to like stress and tension in that area. So steady breaths. We want to be at a place in the stretch where it feels nice. It feels like nourishing, like never kind of damaging or too much. Lovely. On your next exhale, release whatever you've got a hold of, bringing both feet down to the mat. And just take a little sway of the knees from side to side. So take your feet nice and wide, and then just allow the knees to kind of windscreen from side to side a few times, taking a little kind of vinyasa to reset. Good. Bringing the feet hip width apart, we're going to hug the left knee in. Notice how that feels on the left hand side of your lower back. You can keep your eyes closed if you want, if you really want to like relax into it. Good, maybe straightening out that leg if you feel like that's available to you on this side, but maybe we keep it a little bit more gentle today. Good, from here, flexing your left foot, crossing it over your right ankle, and maybe we just hold it here and feel that in the lower back. Or maybe we go for that little hug in. So either back of the thigh or the shin. Having the tailbone lengthening forwards. So notice if it begins to like tilt up towards the sky. See if you can keep the lower back and like upper bum cheek on the mat. Finding a stretch in the hip that feels good, that feels like, yeah, as I say, nourishing, refreshing. Like you could breathe into it. Wonderful. One more breath here. As you exhale, bringing that foot down and then sliding your left knee all the way over your right. Now for some of us, just like before, this might be enough. Maybe we hold this. This is kind of like, yeah, feels good on my back. But maybe we go for the hug. So knees, calves, feet. And you might find you're like way different. So this side is way tighter for me. So I'm going to just grab kind of here instead of overstretching for my feet. Keep the head and shoulders nice and relaxed. You can have a little kind of swipe out through the neck. Make sure we're not kind of allowing tension to travel its way up the spine into like the neck and jaw area. And the vertebrae of our lower back are like really big and really thick bones. They are like quite heavy. So see if you can just allow them to be exactly that and fall into the mat. They have a big job supporting our upper body, so give them a break. Wonderful. Take another full breath. And as you exhale, release. Awesome. This time you're going to bring your feet about hip width, taking the arms out into a cactus shape. And then bring the knees up, so the knees are like over the hips. You can bring them closer if you wish, but if that kind of tips your tailbone up, again, just bring your knees further away. Take a breath. Exhale, dropping the knees to the right. Nice, and just allowing the legs to be heavy. So maybe the legs need to straighten more to keep our shoulders on the mat. Feeling that release, predominantly maybe through the mid-back, but also getting a nice release through the lower back as well as we lift it off the mat. Lovely. Inhale, bringing the knees through center. And on your exhale, just allow them to drop to the opposite side. So wherever they want to land. No pretty shapes to strive for here. Find something that's comfortable and allows yourself to be at ease. Wonderful. As you inhale, bring the knees through center, hugging them in towards the chest, and then gently rocking up and down the length of the spine, forwards and back, forwards and back. Giving yourself a little massage. Good. And then coming up to a seated position. So if cross-legged is not quite comfortable, you can bring your feet further away. You can bring soles of the feet together. It could be quite a loose cross leg, hands onto the knees, and then we're going to begin to make some circles here. And see if you can imagine your lower back kind of circling within the pelvis almost. So nice big exaggerated circles. So as you lean forward, you kind of open through the lower back. And as you exhale, you want to kind of round the upper back and like round into the lower back a little bit as well. Lovely. So it's almost like you're unlocking the lower back. Unlocking or unblocking? Both. Good. And then circling the opposite way. And as it starts to feel a little bit more free, maybe you can exaggerate it. You might find the shoulders start to get involved as well. Awesome. Lovely. And then coming back to a neutral place, we're going to bring the soles of the feet on the mat, and then we're going to come up to a yogi squat. So use your hands to get you up. So feet are nice and wide, toes slightly pointed out. Hands can stay on the floor today, that is totally valid. Tailbone lengthens down, and this should feel kind of opening through the lower back. Nice. If you want to take it further, you can bring the hands to heart center and like prise open the hips, so you get a little bit more into the hip area. Lovely. Relax the glutes. Relax the feet. Don't worry if your heels are floating off the mat. You can even prop up your heels with blocks if you want to make it a little bit more comfortable. That is totally an option. But relaxing through the glutes, sending the breath down, like down to that lower back. Wonderful. From here, we're going to bring our hands down. We're going to send our head down and our bum up, toes slightly turned forward, so we're in kind of a little bit wider than hip width with the hands. Soften the knees now, belly onto the thighs. So that's going to support your lower back, which is what this is all about really. So you can bring your hands, keep your hands on the mat and allow yourself to hang, or grab opposite elbows and hang. But you want to allow your belly to relax onto your thighs, so the lower back releases. The middle and the upper back releases as you take a really heavy forward fold, allowing the vertebrae to separate. Lovely. From here, we're going to bring the fingertips down, then walk the hands onto the knees. Now, this is a bit of a funky one. So hands are onto the knees. Feet are a little bit wider than hip width. Come back, make sure you can see me. So hands are, and we're going to lean like into it. Now from here, as you straighten your arms, you might find you feel that kind of pull, that release, that stretch of the lower back. For some of us, we'll feel it here and it's like, oh, that feels good. Maybe for some of us, we need to be on our forearms, so the forearms onto the knees, and we lengthen the tailbone back as we grow the crown of the head forwards. And we feel that nice release. It's a slight pull almost, like the vertebrae are separating. Often you find lower back issues comes from when the lower back has been kind of wedged together. So whether you've been sat for a long time, maybe if you've been walking for a long time and that your spine has had to support you all that time. So we're looking at making space as we release. Lovely. Awesome. From here, we're going to come back into a yogi squat. So the hands are going to come down, toes slightly turn out, back into that yogi squat. Awesome. From here, this is where we might need our bolster. So if you don't want to practice with the bolster today, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Toes can be wherever you like. And you're going to come down onto the back and just allow the knees to drop to the sides, hands onto the belly. That's still kind of in a similar vein. Otherwise, you want to elevate your spine. So you can either have the bolster like this, you can even prop up this end with like some bricks or some blocks to make it a little bit less intense. But if you are lucky enough to have a bolster or like a cushion this shape, butt it up against your lower back. So again, we're supporting that lower back. Soles of the feet together. And we're going to allow ourselves to drape over it. Now, arms can be wherever you like, on the belly, overhead, out to the sides. Now we're kind of taking the back bend into the lower back, but we want to keep it nice and relaxed, and we can do that because we have that support in the lower back. And if you're just lying back on the mat, totally cool, just like we'll practice together, breathing down into the lumbar spine. Inhale, sending the breath down, swirling it around. And as you exhale, just allowing any tension, stress, worries to drift away. Allowing yourself to be with the physical body. So by taking this very relaxed yin kind of posture, we're working not just into the muscles, we're working into the fascia, the connective tissue around the lower back and into the hip. And this is where we can really kind of work into any tension that we are holding. But the key is to relax the muscles. Easier said than done. Lovely. Let's take one more breath wherever we are. Let it go through the mouth. Good. And then slowly bringing yourself up to seated. You can move your bolster out the way if you're using your bolster or your pillow. And then lengthen the legs out in front. Lovely. From here, we're going to take a nice easy forward fold. So soften the feet. Allow the head to be heavy and round. So you might feel this predominantly in the hamstring for some of us. You might feel it through the muscles that run along the spine. But see if you can keep it nice and gentle. Head is relaxed. Feet are relaxed. Just counterposing that pose that we just did. Wonderful. Walking the hands back towards you. Coming to find a comfortable seat, whatever that may look like for you. Rest your sit bones, like ground them down. Resting the hands wherever feels natural. And as you inhale, see if you can pull up through the crown of the head, like you're lifting out of the lumbar spine, lifting out of the pelvis and growing taller. And with an exhale, see if you can find your softness with it. So there is some activation, but it's not stressful, it's not too labouring. Another big breath in to grow a little taller towards the sun. Exhale, soften. Blinking the eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me for this lower back release. I really hope you found some of those movements helpful. If you did, make sure you leave me a comment below, give it a little like, and I'll see you on tomorrow's practice. Bye guys.